How's everyone doing? Sam, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm blessed. Honest?
I'm chilling.
Except for your neck
Except for my
spasm.
neck.
That's the only issue, right?
That's the biggest issue, bro.
That's the biggest. You got more issues, but
Nah, that's all right.
Let's
Sure.
just focus on that one.
Let's
Let's focus on that one for now.
How's it going?
I'm alright. Not too
You're
bad.
blessed. You comfy?
I'm comfy. I'm chilling.
Sajil has the nicest chair out of all of us. All the rest of us sitting on plastic chairs. Sajil got a nice office chair.
You
It's
better
not
be
a nice
comfy.
office chair,
It's an office chair.
but
It's
It
nicer.
works. It works. All right. So today's topic is money and finances. What we all think about it, before we got a job, and what we thought after having our first jobs. So today's question is going to be, how early do you think you should be thinking about money, talking about money, and organizing money?
learning the importance.
Learning the importance, learning the value of it.
Yeah,
So-
we'll go over some of our experiences
Yeah.
and how we grew up around money
Yeah. So
and the lack
Right.
thereof.
let's get started then. For me, growing up, we were lower class, right? We weren't poverty line. I think we were just like above that, like no risk of like falling into that.
Yeah, I think just to like put a definition out there, poverty line in Canada is still technically not poverty. It's obviously really low,
Right.
but
Compared to everyone else, it's a comparative measure.
yeah, it's survivable.
Yeah, it's a comparative measure.
You're
right?
surviving. You're not living. That's
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. So I was lower class, but like nowhere near poverty.
Yeah.
Right. Nowhere near poverty line.
Yeah.
Comfortable 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo building. It was nice.
It's a nice area.
It's a nice area.
You got a park outside.
We had like, right? Like it's not a dangerous neighborhood, but I'd say it's middle class.
Now for sure.
Yeah,
Now
definitely.
for sure. Right?
We got cash offers on $500,000 apartments.
Okay, well that's Toronto real estate in general.
Yeah.
Right? It's just gone up like crazy. But growing up, like I didn't think too much about money until, when you started asking your parents for stuff. Like I think I think one of the mistakes my parents made was taking me to every single store with them and showing me all the valuables, Like you want those things now. It's like, oh, I see those things.
You're attracted.
I want those. Like toys was the first thing.
Toys, games.
Yeah. Things
You ever walk into the dollar store and you're like, I want this, I want that.
Oh, dollar store was easy for them though. Everything's a dollar. Everything's a dollar.
Back
that
then.
adds up, man. That adds up.
Back then it was $1.
Yeah.
Back then, now it's like what?
Dollarama plus.
Dollar on a plus. Yeah, they finessing you. It's not $1 anymore.
Still pretty good though.
It's still pretty good value.
Yeah.
I won't lie. Still pretty good value.
Yeah.
And I think dollar store has pretty good things, like everyday things that you could use, but some of us don't want to go in there, and we don't go in there for those things. We'd rather go buy like some expensive thing off Amazon or whatever,
Costco.
right? Just because it looks kind of nice. Like,
Bro, you
oh,
can find a lot there. Like
Yeah.
for example, my mom needed a mouse for her computer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me see on Amazon. And like the
Right.
cheapest wireless or even wired was like $12. Then I go in, I'm just randomly in dollar store one day,
Right.
Dollarama, and I see it for $4.50.
a computer
Wireless
Wireless
mouse.
mouse.
What? Yeah.
Oh
and
my
and
goodness.
she's using it till this day. It's been like 4 months. So
Right.
even if it goes bad in like a week,
Yeah.
for $4.50, I'm not mad at that.
You can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And does she know the difference? She would
Obviously
never know.
not. No, definitely not. It's
She
not
would
like
never know.
she's playing some high FPS
Right.
shooter game where she needs some crazy Logitech game.
She'd see the latency, like
Yeah.
latency.
Oh, this was slower than the last one. Yeah, no, she's good. She's happy.
Right. But I mean, like even then, like if you gave me a wireless mouse at the age of 5, 6, I wouldn't have cared. It's from the dollar store. It works. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know that it's.
I wouldn't know how much it costed. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know that there's better things out there.
Yeah. The problem would only be that my previous one wasn't working.
Exactly.
I need a new one.
That's the only reason to buy something else.
Yeah.
Is because the other thing was broken.
Exactly.
Right? So, oh, this is broken. We need something new. My dad is
Just
gonna go get it.
replacing.
Yeah. My dad's going to replace it because he has the funds. Or he has some
The way.
He has the knowledge to go get it.
Yeah.
So how
I
old
don't
were you when you were thinking like this?
Maybe 5, 6. And I think as soon as I entered like grade 1, grade 2, and, I'm at school, I'm looking at all these kids around me,
Mm-hmm.
They got stuff that I don't, and they're bragging about it. Because I think a lot of kids, not a lot of kids, but I think like when you have something that's of value that someone else doesn't have, you kind of want to show it off.
Especially as a kid.
Like, look what I got. Show and tell.
Yeah. We used to have that.
Show and tell. What
We
was
used to
show and tell about?
Yeah, it was encouraged.
It was encouraged. What is show and tell? Like, think about it.
Showing off.
Yeah,
Basically.
I got this. You got it?
exactly.
It
Oh,
doesn't
for
necessarily have to
Christmas,
be materialistic.
My parents
though.
bought me this.
It could be. It could be a
Majority of
talent.
the time it was. It was showing either a teddy bear or like something someone got you.
Yeah, it's like bringing something special to you. That was one of mine. Bringing something special to you, and tell the class about it. Kids were bringing toys. Oh, I got this. It got lights on it, and I'm here with with one of those Hot Wheels that costs like 30 cents. I got this.
Yo, those are fire. I had like 4 or 5.
Those are fire.
Yeah,
'Cause,
those
they
are-
were built to last, too.
Those are nice.
And I
They're
think,
heavy.
I think you could sell one for one for like, I don't know, $50 now.
Yeah,
Something
they're
like that.
collectibles.
Like
Collectibles,
collectors, yeah. But back then it was like, mine doesn't light up. And then I went home like, Dad, I need something. All these kids got it.
They got Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They got Pokemon cards.
Oh my goodness! Don't even start with
They
that.
got Beyblades.
I think that sped everything up for me.
Yeah.
Right? The Beyblades, the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon cards. Okay, I know Salma has a lot to say about this because you were a Yu-Gi-Oh fiend. Were you guys?
We all were.
I wasn't. No.
I don't know what these clowns are talking
No,
about.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Unless I swear you had a book.
Honestly,
used-
the most.
I was a
cards.
5-star athlete recruited.
He is
and,
lying.
and
That's
I
why
don't
he's
know-
sitting here on
lying.
this podcast.
I don't know what these guys. I had a plantar fasciitis injury. That's why I
All right,
didn't
Raheel.
go to
Let's
the
not
league.
bring this up. This is take 2. No past mistakes.
Okay.
Okay, you were on Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You
okay,
had
so
one
I
of the
remember-
most cards.
I remember going to this guy's house, and he would have like I think he was holding on to everyone's cards basically.
Right.
So he had a lot.
How many?
And, like-
how many do you think you got up to?
I know we used to count our cards. So honest,
Yo,
give us
I-
the number.
I think at one point we probably had about 200 cards each,
200 cards each.
but there was a couple people that had
Like 1,000. I
not
remember.
1,000,
Not 1,000.
500, I'd say.
probably 500.
How much
yeah.
would a deck be? Like 500 cards, right?
Bro, it's a lot. If you would get a pack of 20 cards, if you were to just get a pack of
Like
regular
a slim
cards.
little.
No,
pack.
the slim ones
It
had
was
like
5, I think.
I think
I
it's
don't know what
10.
you're talking about. I was an athlete.
He knows exactly. Look how much detail he knows about
But
this.
basically, if
What
you
a
got
nerd.
if you got the thin ones, they had like a special card in there. Somebody told me, and if you got the bigger pack, they would just have like regular cards, but
No, they had a special card in them too.
no.
I think those
The
are
tin- the
those are a
tin
deluxe
cases.
pack. Those are a deluxe.
The 10 cases, I remember
My
not because
source,
I bought.
my source told me
Source,
that
yeah.
that the bigger pack, the ones
Right.
that just had like the plain common cards, you
Right.
could get them for cheaper, but there was more. So if you wanted to like fill up your deck,
Right.
that's what you would do. And then obviously if you were looking for a specific card,
How much
you-
were they? Because
I'd say around $5 to $10.
$5 to $10, yeah.
Yeah.
how
and they
many, for like
they sold
20?
them out the drugstore, Shoppers
Flea
Drug Mart,
market.
Everywhere.
everywhere. Right.
But I'm
Yeah.
talking about the tin cases. The tin ones had special cards in them too, but those were like $25 to $30.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to my source and get back to you. On that.
Did your
You
source
mean
have
you mean go home and look at the cards that you have?
Did your source have full Exodia, or what is it called?
I don't know what he's talking
Exodia
about.
or blue
Blue
eyed
eyes, white
dragon, some
dragon.
bullshit.
That's a god you're talking about. Okay,
Oh, did your source
put
tell
some
you?
respect on that.
Honest is on the phone with his source right now.
Exactly. I'm texting.
No, he's not.
I'm texting the person.
But see, I think that was one of those defining moments. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh's big now. Who has cards? Who doesn't have cards? How many cards do you have? How many cards do I
Who
have?
has a dual disc and who doesn't?
Who has a dual? Okay, those are nerds. Okay, nobody had a dual.
No, some,
you weren't
some
cool.
people like
You weren't
I didn't
cool.
have one.
Yeah, you did.
we know.
Yeah, you did. Yes, he did.
Nah.
did,
That's
he
cap. That's cap. I didn't
Oh
have.
my
It.
god, that's the funniest thing in the world.
I didn't have one. I was playing sports, man. Gosh.
Yeah, he had his cleats on.
I ain't
playing
never
cricket.
seen you play basketball.
I ain't never seen two pretty best friends. It's always one of them got to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay.
All right, so you just heard a big bleep because we cut that out. I really hope we did.
No.
The guy who said it is in charge of the edit.
We're
He
not-
made the edit.
No,
He
we're
made
not.
the edit.
We're not cutting that out.
But yeah, so I wasn't in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I was into Beyblade.
Pokemon?
Beyblade.
I was into Beyblade too.
Beyblade, right? We'd like
Let it rip.
out in the yard at lunchtime, like some man would dig a hole and we'd like spin our shit in there.
And you wanted like the tougher metals, like
Exactly, like the
Whoa,
metal,
whoa.
like, oh, my metal's bigger. My
Whoa,
metal's
pause.
metal. We're talking about metal.
we ain't
Alright.
talking about plastic.
All right.
We're not talking about wood. We're talking about metal.
Whoa, pause.
We'll pause. Exactly. Pause. So like imagine like I'm going to my dad like this costs this much. I need it. Why do I need it? I don't need it.
Were you
And
going
then-
with the thought of how much it costs to your dad?
Exactly. And my dad knows. My dad knows this is a toy. Why am I spending $30 on a toy? I gotta feed this kid.
Yeah.
I gotta save up for his education. So I'm going to my dad. I'm saying, Dad, I need this. I need that.
And then you also going, hey, Dad, there's a pizza lunch tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and there's this
Oh,
field
the
trip.
infamous
This.
pizza lunches.
Yeah, like
And there's
sometimes
chocolate milk for sale.
I remember sometimes I'd actually miss out on those pizza lunches. And
Unfortunate days.
I think I know.
See,
I think
if you were a student athlete, you'd get it for free.
you were not a student athlete.
I was.
Who is a student athlete in elementary school?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I
Nobody.
played softball in elementary
We're not in
school.
America.
I played softball in
I played
elementary school.
hockey. I was on.
I was
hockey
on the
team.
all Canadian varsity team.
All right.
all Canadian.
I'm not even born here. Anyways,
This guy's just talking mad shit. But so I'm going to my dad. I'm going like, I need this toy, and these fads are going out in like what, a month, 2 months? I'd say okay. I'll give them like a solid school year, 8 months,
I'd say
right?
less.
For some of them, yeah, probably less. And my dad's like hesitating every time. He's like,
Yeah, because you're coming every
Again?
week. Every week, you're like, oh, no, that
Again?
guy got a new Beyblade. I need to
Yeah.
beat him tomorrow at
we just got
lunchtime.
you these last week. Like, why would you need another 10 more cards? I was like, Dad, we got to build our deck. We got to beat this guy. You know that kid? You know his son? He has like 100 cards in his deck.
Yeah.
I got 10. And my dad's like, I guess you're going to have to be better than his son. I'm going to get you another 10 cards.
yeah.
Adds up. And my dad eventually was like, nah, we're not doing this.
That's it. No more.
We're not doing this. And every time, like, I wouldn't notice because I'm so young. He feels the need to, like, make me happy. But at the same time, he's going, do I got it?
Yeah, like
Why-
how long is this gonna go on for, right? Like,
Why he really
Exactly.
need these?
Exactly. He's going, I got to feed the family. I got to keep the lights on. I got to keep a roof over their heads. I think I started recognizing the faces and like the attitudes and behaviors of my parents. Cause you pick that up. You're a human, right?
Yeah.
At a certain age, you start like being able to like analyze their behaviors. You're looking at their faces. You're looking at the way they're talking. And I think when money like starts stressing someone, you can tell.
Yeah, I have a story. You know when you get into a new grade and
Right.
they make you introduce yourself
Uh-huh.
and they have these like activities,
Get to know each
yeah,
other.
get to know each other. And like the usually
Icebreaker.
icebreakers and sometimes like the first assignment would be, write like a small autobiography of yourself.
Right.
Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
For the teacher, for the students, whatever it was. It was just something
Yeah.
to like keep us busy. And there's always this part where you would say, what are your parents like? What are their occupations?
Damn.
This was in grade 1, grade 2, grade elementary school, and I remember I would always say my dad's a chef, right?
Right.
I was in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. My dad's not a chef. He's not a chef, but you
Right.
know what he is? He's working at McDonald's.
He's
Right?
a line cook.
He's a line cook. And I
Right.
used to say, just to make myself feel better, I'd be like,
Uh-huh.
yo, my dad's a chef.
Right.
And I'd write it proudly on the
It's
paper.
respected.
Yeah.
That's
But
respected.
if I were to say, my dad's working at McDonald's,
Right.
it's everybody's going to be like, yo, this guy has,
Yeah.
his dad's working at McDonald's, whatever.
Yeah. Let's
And
make fun
just
of
like
him,
for
right?
myself, it was like kind of a low moment, right?
Mhm. Right.
And I remember this one time in grade 4, I think, or grade 3, we were doing this assignment and the same thing came up, dad's occupation. And this time I was like, I didn't know what my dad was doing at this
Right.
time. So I asked my sister, she was a little bit older than me, and I was like, so I'm doing this assignment. Can you help me with this? What
Yeah.
does dad do? And she's like, your dad just got fired, right? Like he's not working right now. Like that, like even right now, talking about it gets me a little worked up because
Yeah.
when I was a kid, it really messed with me.
Right. It got
Yeah.
me emotional too.
Yeah,
man.
because I was like,
Yeah.
how are my parents paying the bills? And like last week I was asking them for money for a field trip, and
Yeah.
um,
Right.
I don't want to get too deep, but
I got
Yeah.
I got like an almost identical, like the first half,
yeah,
right? Because I mean, I can't relate to that, like, but I remember like being like, embarrassed, like, of what my dad does. My dad's a taxi driver,
Yeah.
like that's like embarrassing to me. Like I got to make sure nobody knows what my dad does.
So what did you write? What would you write?
I didn't have that, but when it came to me, like initially I knew like, yo, nobody can know. But when it hit hard was when my dad dropped me off to school once
In the taxi.
in the taxi during lunch. And there was a group of like popular kids, the cool kids. I used to try and fit in with them like here and there as well. And I did for a certain point. My dad dropped me off.
Oh, so you're a cool kid, huh?
My dad dropped me off and they were walking by the front of the school where my dad dropped me off. I hop out the whip, say bye to my dad. And then all these guys page me like, oh, your dad drives a taxi? Your dad drives a taxi? And then I'm like, no, that was my uncle.
oh
Oh,
man,
Oh my
no.
god, no.
I lied straight up. That was my uncle. And then they're like, and then of course they saw through it, right? They saw I was embarrassed. I was like probably red in the face, right? But that like gets to you. Like that's what you understand at that age. You go, oh, maybe we don't have as much money as other people.
yeah.
Maybe we don't. So that's a heavy thing, right?
It's to this day, I feel so like bad about myself because I was like, why was I not really showing off my dad? Because that's my dad. I love my dad.
That's your dad.
Exactly,
Right? That's
right?
your
Yeah.
number one,
Yeah.
bro. That's your hero.
And even though like, we didn't have enough money, he never made it feel like we didn't have enough. We always had enough.
He was trying his best.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
he's
he'd
trying his
always
best.
get you what you wanted and
Yeah.
stuff. Like he wouldn't say.
And me being the dumb kid I am, here I am having this imposter syndrome, playing off my dad as somebody he is not.
Right.
When realistically, I should be proud of what he's doing.
Right.
The thing is, as a kid, that's not what's going through your head. You just want to fit in.
You don't
especially
think the same way.
Yeah, especially as an immigrant, right?
Right.
You just want to fit in with everybody and make sure that you stand out or you look cool or you look normal,
Right.
right? But that was far from it.
Right.
And only when my sister told me, that's when things started to get real, and that's when I realized that I had to start thinking about money more,
Yeah.
and I would start asking them for I wouldn't ask them for things as much
Yeah.
as I used to.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 10 years old,
10 years old. So
9 years old.
So it hit you, like whether you wanted to or not,
Yeah.
whether your parents wanted it to or not,
Yeah.
you were aware.
Yeah, like
right
my
away.
parents tried hiding it from me, right?
Right.
But my sister told me straight up because she didn't know any better either. She was in grade 7, and she was
Right.
like, "Oh, maybe it's time for him to know."
Yeah.
But they tried protecting me, and it just came out, and I was
Yeah.
like, "There's a lot of things that happened over the years
Uh-huh.
that they didn't tell me, and then I found out later. It
Right.
kind of hit me hard."
Yeah. I think it goes to the fact that, our parents are immigrants. They are lower income people, right?
They don't have the knowledge.
They don't have the knowledge
room.
themselves. They don't have
The room to learn.
the room to teach you either.
Exactly.
Or the
Right.
time, right?
Right. And exactly, they're probably thinking, let's not make it a burden on the kid. He's got to go to school. These aren't worries for a kid. These shouldn't be worries for a kid. Right? And
Where
I
the
think-
money's coming from, how it's
Exactly.
coming.
I think that's a luxury for like rich people to have, right?
Yeah.
Right. But I still think you should, have that conversation with your child. Hey, we don't have it like other people.
They should be aware of the circumstances.
Exactly. You got to tell them like there's other ways to be happy,
Definitely.
right? There's other ways to,
But how young is too young, and how old is not old enough?
Right. That's
That's the
complicated.
question, right?
It's
Because
complicated.
like I said, when I was 9 years old, and my sister told me that,
right.
I was scarred.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't know how to think properly.
Right.
Takes a
and
toll on you.
It takes a huge toll mentally. You're somewhere else then,
Right.
and you start to look at things differently.
Uh-huh.
The funny thing is, on my paper, I still wrote that he was a chef,
And even though
even though my dad didn't have a job at that moment. I lied on the paper, and I was like,
uh-huh.
today he's a chef.
Yeah.
So
And that's what your teacher thought. That's what the other kids thought.
yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get at, is like how young is too young and how old is not old enough.
Do you guys think it depends on income? Do you think that age is determined by a factor of income? Because maybe when you're richer, you have the privilege of teaching your kids,
More of a reason per se.
right? Like you're comfortable. You know why? because I have this money. You know how I got this money and why we're comfortable? This is why, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're more open to it because they have it, right? Like your parents
They
are not
have
gonna come
it.
tell you, "Oh, I don't have it,"
Right.
right? But if they have it,
Mhm.
they'll educate you more and like
Right. And I think that goes to part of the reason why, not all of the reason, but part of the reason why they're at that level, right? Because they've thought about money, because they've understood money, right?
Definitely.
yeah.
Because they've given it a lot of thought. I'm sure like our parents think about money at a certain like income. Your parents think about money, but they can only think so far as to how much money do I need this month to get our family by.
The thing
Yeah.
is like we're living paycheck to paycheck, literally,
Exactly.
in the full meaning of the term
Yeah.
paycheck, the phrase paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
We didn't have room for anything else.
We didn't have room for error.
As Donald sorry, not Donald Glover, Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
Donald,
Donald Glover.
it's not
yeah.
Danny Glover. Okay,
No, it's Donald.
Donald Glover on a show Atlanta.
Yeah,
He says it perfectly. Poor people do not have time to invest.
yeah. No,
Definitely do not.
because we're
The time or the money.
yeah,
Yeah, the time
But-
or the money, but strictly the time.
yeah,
They don't have the time to invest.
yeah. Because you have to learn about it.
You have to learn about it, and you have to be able to take your check and say, this much is going here. I don't need it right now. Nah, you need the whole check right now,
Yeah,
Exactly.
today.
exactly. And so you're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, the point is you don't have time to really tell your children or like learn about telling your children, because I feel like when you have more money, you are able to learn more about other things.
Right.
And that's why when you're richer, they have these parenting classes and these cooking classes for young
Right.
parents and all that, because they can afford it,
Yeah,
right? But like our parents, they kind of just learned as they went,
exactly.
and they didn't really have a budget in terms of, okay, this is how much I'm gonna save. It was just like, okay, whatever I get.
Exactly.
And relating to that, like how old is your too old or how old is not old enough, I guess it comes down to the fact that when you're too young and you tell your kids that we don't have any money, I think it really messes with their brain.
Right. Well, let's say this. Let's start at an age 18. Too late.
Definitely.
You're
way
too late.
Yeah, because at the end, when you're 18, you already learned from other people and your
Exactly.
schooling and stuff
Yeah.
a little bit from
So
school.
18, you're too late, and you probably already know some things, but you probably don't know all of it, or maybe not in the correct way. Because I don't think, like, if you learn about money in a certain way, like you develop a sort of like
Habit?
toxic relationship
Yeah.
with it, right? But if it's taught in the correct way, because there are ways to teach kids about money where I think it can be effective, but it depends on income. That's what we're saying. Depends on income, but
You also don't want to teach them too early to the point where all they think about is money,
exactly.
because that's also really problematic.
Yeah. So let's say if you're in a higher income and you teach your kid like, oh, you're at the point of your life, or like that message gets warped into, hey, the point of your life is to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna mess with them, right? And plus, if you tell them like if you're making a lot and you go discuss it with them or whatever, they're not gonna value it as much either, because they know, oh, my dad has like this much extra or whatever. Like, where like we got that message too, but like we would understand, okay, like there are certain limits. Later on, like even if your parents don't say no, like you'll realize, okay, maybe this is like too much, or
So it's a delicate relationship, right?
Definitely.
It's really a delicate relationship where it has to be taught. But like we had to learn about it on our own, right? We really had to like jump into it and like learn it on our own. And I wouldn't say I'm like I don't think any of us really have built like maybe actually we've built a better relationship with money to understand it a little bit better. But we've made mistakes on our way. Like I'll tell like a bunch of stories. But like before we get into those stories, I just want to ask like how do you think your relationship with money changed when you had your first job?
okay, yeah. So when I got my first job, I started valuing it more.
So where's your first job? Where was your
It was
first
in a
job?
factory.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of factory?
Plastic factory.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How long was that for?
it's for about a couple months, 2 months.
Couple months?
And then I got
Okay.
fired. And
You got fired?
yeah. and
God
then I had
damn.
to I
You
had to
got
switch. I
fired?
had to
I've
switch
never been-
factories. I had to
What?
switch
Why'd you get
factories.
fired?
It was a conveyor belt, and they said I wasn't like producing enough material or whatever per hour,
Right.
not up to their standards or whatever.
okay.
He wasn't efficient.
Yeah,
He wasn't efficient. Damn, that's wild. I've never been fired. How'd they tell you? Like, yo,
they just,
just
like
don't come?
no, just one day they just took me to the office
Oh, is
and
it
they
in
handed
person?
they handed me a letter, and I was like, okay, what was
Oof.
this?
That's rough.
You know,
That's rough.
and I read
How
it, and I
yeah.
was, and I realized, okay, they don't want me here.
How much were they
So I
paying
was
you?
like-
They don't want me here.
No, as in, like,
How much were they paying you though?
it was minimum. It was minimum. I
Minimum,
don't remember what
which
the minimum
was-
was back then.
What
but-
was minimum? 10, 25?
10, 25, 11, 25, something around there.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I don't
very
remember.
low. Not the 14 we
Yeah.
have now in Ontario. Right?
Yeah, so it was that, and then after a bit of a break, like I went to a second job,
Uh-huh.
which is another factory.
Right.
This one was better in terms of the work, and if I recall correctly, even the pay was a bit better. And like I honestly, I'd recommend for like any kids growing up, you should work in a factory.
You should?
You should work in
Yeah.
a factory.
No,
he has a
no.
good
If
point.
you-
No,
No,
hold on.
no.
If you-
Hold on.
let
Just
me
listen to his
finish.
point. Let him finish his
this.
point. Let him finish his
the
point.
Okay, the reason is like you understand how hard it is. You value money, or you look at money differently through your experience of
No.
working at a factory.
No, don't work in a factory.
He's saying.
Don't
so-
listen to him.
So his point was, I've heard this point like multiple times. He's told me this. Because he worked in a factory, he's like, oh, I have to go to uni. I have to get a better job. Because this is terrible. I can't do this for like hours on end for like years and years.
Exactly, like you
So
hate
he-
it. You hate it so much that it motivates you.
So he uses that motivation. He uses that motivation.
Okay, yeah, I
It
get
works.
what you're
It
saying.
works.
It works for some people, but
I'll
I wouldn't
argue-
say it works for everyone.
I'll
Yeah.
argue it works. But what do you realize when you do that? You realize
the importance of getting ahead of like
the value.
education.
you're
and, like,
trading. You're literally trading. So in a factory, you're literally trading time
yeah,
for
for
money, like
minimum
1 to
wage.
1,
Yeah,
or like 1 to
11
10,
or
25,
yeah.
whatever dollars,
yeah,
right?
and
you're
it's hard
saying-
work. You know,
Yeah,
it's not like I'm just like sitting there getting paid minimum.
exactly.
You kind of had the
But-
easier factory though.
he got, he got
Like, if,
fired.
if we're being realistic, your factory was kind of chill, from what I remember.
The second one, yeah. The second one, yeah. The first one, no.
The first one you were too slow.
did all of us
Doesn't
work in
matter.
a factory or no? You guys didn't.
I worked one day in a factory and never
One
went
day?
back. Never went back.
I've worked in a factory once too.
Yeah.
Didn't
Why'd you guys not go back? I went there for a whole summer.
I got a job at Walmart.
Oh, okay, you're lucky. You're
Yeah.
lucky.
Why did you quit the other factory? Like what?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
So where was
Wasn't
it?
me.
What was it?
I don't recall exactly what it was, but it was some sort of packaging.
See, that's
Okay.
my
It's like-
point.
Was that your first job?
Yeah.
Was that your first job as a factory as well?
No, factory
No?
was
Okay.
like it was just kind of in between where I couldn't really find a job.
Right.
So factory was the quickest thing.
Agency.
Agency through
Call
an
'em up.
agency, just go sign up. But that experience was horrible.
See, that's
Yeah.
that's what I was getting at.
Okay, I get it.
Like
But why continue then?
Yeah.
I didn't continue it. Like,
No,
you know,
but
after-
you still worked for like a couple months, right?
yeah, to finish the summer off.
You don't
I
have
wasn't
to.
gonna like
I'm just saying for me.
yeah.
So I got a job through a friend. He's like, "Yo, I got you a nice job." it was me and a couple of my friends that
Yeah.
got the factory job.
Right.
And
Oh, this is so nice.
yo,
You're gonna love it. You're
Bro.
gonna love it.
this guy, he's like, "Yo, I got you a blessed job." I was like, "Okay, cool." So me, my friend, and actually it was just me and one other guy. The third guy flopped. So we wake up 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Yeah, it's
God damn.
it's cold as balls outside. And 5 a.m. You know, I'm wearing a jacket, and I didn't drive at that time. So the guy picking us up was like, "Okay, come to this intersection so I can just pick you up quickly."
How far was this intersection?
The intersection was about, I would say, a 10-minute walk. And since this is a hood, 5 a.m. is kind of scary in the hood. Like you're walking through the hood, it's kind of scary. It's
yeah.
not sunny yet because
Okay.
it's still dusk, right?
You just don't feel safe.
Yeah, I don't feel safe at all. But I'm
Why,
walking.
what are you doing up at 5 a.m.? This is your first time waking up at 5 a.m. Of
Bro,
course
I'm-
you're scared.
I'm 17. Like
It's
the
dark.
last thing I want to do is wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
right? And start my day.
You probably went to sleep at like what, 1?
I don't know.
Some crazy hour. Okay.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
I go and I get in the car and then we pick up my friend and then mind you, I did not know what this factory was gonna be like at all.
He said it was nice.
I don't think he said nice, but he just said I got you a job here and there. But
Yeah.
the place he was working at was pretty nice, so I thought it was similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we got there, and this place, it's a watermelon factory. Okay,
What is a watermelon factory?
bro, they just package watermelons into big boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And ship them out to us when I
Okay.
worked at Walmart.
Yeah, and ship them to like grocery stores.
Right.
This was the most nastiest, most dirtiest place I've ever been to in my life. There was watermelon on the floor, rotten watermelon
my
in the
goodness.
boxes,
And
Like-
those smell.
and
Fruit
yeah,
flies
You can't-
everywhere.
fruit flies everywhere.
you can't handle that
Yeah,
smell.
it smells so bad.
Yeah.
And we got there 5 a.m. We started working, and first, like for the first hour or two, I was like, the manager, the factory guy, he didn't really tell us what to do because we were new,
Right.
and we are just walking around. I was like, so yo, what are we doing? And we were just walking around
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to do. So he tells us, okay, so you stand here, and since you're his friend, you're gonna stand over there or whatever. And we had to take
Right.
watermelon from the boxes first, and then take like because some of them were broken because they come
Oh,
packaged
okay.
already.
Okay.
Yeah, so they
You're sorting.
yeah, something like that. I didn't really know what we were doing.
Right.
I just wanted to get out of there.
You just wanted to check.
Yeah. And
At that point, I don't even think he wanted to check.
yeah, man, it was the worst experience ever. I was there for maybe 6 hours, and the guy called me the next day to go again, and I was like, nope.
No.
I had just left. I was like, I'm
How
never
much
doing
did you
this
get
again.
paid? How much did you get paid for
I
that?
paid like $74 or something. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, I bought factory shoes for $74. So
So you could
just
work
paid for
there?
that.
yeah,
It
So you
paid
just
for
came out with zero.
I came out like net. So
Oh, you came out net.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that bad.
it was
That's not
pretty
the worst
bad.
thing.
Worst experience of my life. I
Right.
don't recommend it. Do anything but factory.
I think you could get motivated working at like a fast food joint. Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that instead.
I think that would be a little better.
Yeah, like bro, you don't need to work in a factory. I think that was just for us immigrants because that's what we saw around us. We're like, oh, these
Yeah,
guys.
that's what your
working-
parents told you.
Yeah, the guy you knew. Oh, he owned an agency. Where do you have connects? Not to an office.
Definitely.
To all the
I
factories.
mean, he did, but he's not putting you in the office.
Yeah, you're melanin. You had a lot of melanin. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what the crazy part is? There are agencies that give you office jobs.
Right.
So you're like, now that I look back at it, I'm like, why didn't I know anything about that?
Yeah.
But those agencies were in richer areas for kids that
I think you need a resume for that as well.
no, they help you with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you give them a basic resume,
Right.
and they kind of forward it. And as long as you know, like, basics of typing, your typing words per
Microsoft
minute are
Word.
good.
Yeah.
Microsoft Word, Excel, you can do it. It's not that hard.
Right. The main point is like through these jobs, you understand you're trading your time
For
for
money.
money, and that's okay. That was okay, right? But then you still have to just understand that concept, right? And then you value money. You go,
Yeah,
oh,
and then you value like
yeah,
what your
'cause-
parents are doing, like they're doing it, you
right.
know.
And a lot of like when you guys bought stuff,
Yeah.
let me see if you guys thought the same way. Say you bought something for I don't know $50. Are you going, oh, this is $50? Or are you
When
going,
that's 5 hours of my time.
that's 5 hours of my time right there. I was thinking that. I was going, that's 5 hours of my time.
That's exactly how I thought.
Because I didn't have any budget or like bills to pay. That was clearly that. I was like, yo, that's
Yeah.
5 hours of my time.
I bought a Mac after that factory job, but like
Yeah. Did you go, oh,
Chilling.
that's 40 hours, 80 hours of my time?
it was a lot more than 80, but yeah.
But yo, that thinking kind of changed for me. When I first took on a couple bills. Right? First was of course my phone bill.
Yeah.
And now I'm not going, oh, that was this many hours of work that I did. I'm going, I'm expanding my like budget. I'm budgeting now.
Yeah.
I'm going, I need this much
You need to save
for
this much.
for the next this many months to afford my cell phone bill.
Yeah.
And that's when things like started clicking for me, I think. That's when my relationship, I think, changed for the better. Once you have your first bill, you go, oh, it's going to deduct this much out of my account
Every month.
every single month. Am I going to have it next month? Yes. Okay. How long do I have this for? All right. I'm good. I don't need to look for a job. Or I do need to look for a job now. And then like all the things started clicking with my parents or whatever. I go, oh, this is how much they need. This is how they see it.
They got more bills to pay.
Yeah,
They
so
got
now-
food to put on the table.
So I mean, eventually I stopped asking my parents for money. I go, I got to figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like the
interesting.
same
What
thing
what
for you
age
guys.
did you guys stop asking your parents for money? Like,
I think it was my first job,
Yeah,
17.
it was after my first job as well.
Yeah, because that before that, like how else were you gonna buy?
After
things,
that,
right?
I felt hella uncomfortable even thinking of asking them for money.
Right, it's like I got my own.
Yeah. I
Now
go to
it's-
work. What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah, now it's time for you to give them money.
Exactly. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think just yet. I don't think it was for me like that just yet.
Oh,
Because again, like I told you, like I didn't have a healthy relationship with money.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
at that
okay.
point, because it was my parents are like, "Oh, you take care of this, Bill. We don't need your money. Don't worry. Just go to school, have fun." And
I think I could relate.
and that I think that ruined me.
It messed me.
I think it messed with me so hard.
Money management skills went out the door.
I didn't even have any to start with.
Exactly.
I was spending here and there, like, oh, this lunch, I can
Breakfast,
afford it.
lunch, dinner, snack. Oh, a drink. Why not?
Why not? I got it, and I'm gonna go to work anyway.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
make it
getting
back.
paid tomorrow.
I'll make it back.
Uh-huh.
I'll make it back.
I
My
had the
phone
same
bill
thing,
paid.
but like I had the same thing where like my parents never really asked me to pay for anything like in the house or whatever.
Right.
But they'll still watch if I'm like eating out like 20, for everything.
So they'd watch your
Then-
spending.
Well, that was for me in like high school where they couldn't really watch per se. Like I'm not
Yeah.
taking lunch from home.
Right.
I'm out from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah, it's like, how's this kid surviving? We
Yeah.
don't even feed him.
So like I'm spending where I can.
Yeah.
Any chance I get, I'm spending. It's
Exactly.
like I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think what makes it even worse is when you have that one friend who has a car.
Those are
Don't
the
let's not
worst.
get started. I didn't only have one. I had a couple friends that
Yo,
had
my
cars in
goodness.
high school.
Oh my goodness.
So it wasn't just the McDonald's that we had for those first 2 years.
right, it wasn't that cheap like dollar menu. Nah.
It was no $2, $3 junior chickens. You know,
What did it get up to?
Five Guys. We're going Burger Priest. We're going wherever. We're going Chipotle.
We got a car.
Yeah,
we got.
what
we
are you
got an
craving
hour-
today?
An
What are you
hour
craving
of
today?
lunch.
Hour. I mean, that led to skipping class.
Right.
Led to all these other things. It wasn't the best.
The car, like it opens up so much ways for you to spend your money. That like, why would you think of anything
Gas.
else?
I suggested we go further out today. Why don't I just give you like $5 for gas today?
Right.
Come on, I could have saved that $5, sat my ass in
my
the cafeteria for the day.
Yeah.
You know, maybe grab the chocolate milk or something, but
There was no savings.
none.
Yeah, like I didn't save until university.
The concept of saving finally started clicking.
Yeah, that's when I think.
Same.
Like later on, it wasn't like immediate. Like, oh, I'm starting to make money. I gotta put this much aside. I can spend the rest.
Nah,
Never.
I was I gotta get rid of all of this before my next paycheck.
Exactly.
I gotta start fresh every time.
And you started the cycle again, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
That's unhealthy. But now, like we realize, we go, oh, you have to save. There's different ways to grow your money.
I
There's-
ate out twice this week. No more.
Right,
That's it.
exactly. You're budgeting.
That's it.
You're budgeting, and I think once your income starts to grow, you think about more ways of budgeting, more ways
Saving.
of investing, saving. Exactly. Like
Yeah, I mean, you can do more with more money, right?
exactly. I remember Anna saying last podcast, more money, more problems.
Let's not get that
But
started.
I'd say more money,
Different problems.
less money problems. Less
Not
money
necessarily.
problems. But less like, you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. It's like now
You're not restricted.
I'm not living paycheck to paycheck.
But that's still a money problem. Not being restricted is a money problem.
unless you have a healthy relationship.
If
But
you
we're
know
talking
how to
about
budget-
unhealthy relationships.
No, but we're talking about now later
Yeah.
on once you actually learn the concept of money managing and having a healthy relationship
Yeah,
with money.
and this goes back to the question, right? Like, how early is too early? I think you got to teach your kids as soon as they understand. As soon as you bring them to a grocery store and they start asking for stuff, you got to teach them. You sit them down one day, say, "Hey,
What number would you put on that? What age number?
I would say maybe middle school, because let them enjoy their youth.
I'd say grade 8.
I'd say
entering high school.
I would say don't worry about it, but just start thinking about it.
Yeah,
Like with this money, like basic concepts, like, oh, you're
how
gonna-
it's earned,
exactly
where it's coming from,
Yeah.
how to save it.
how to save it, what you can do once you save it, because you gotta
Exactly.
like there has to be a reward at the end, right? Once it's
Exactly.
saving.
Once you put that in a child's mind,
Exactly. You're just like developing helping them develop a healthy relationship with money. I think that's important. Like middle school, you gotta let them know.
Yeah, because
Right?
high school is like things can get crazy if they don't have it yet.
So wait, so did your parents ever talk to you guys about it?
No,
no.
Okay.
no.
That's the reason for those high school mistakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the reason.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money.
I wish there was a way for me to figure out how much I spent in just high school on food alone.
Yeah.
Just food alone.
Yeah. So I think my case was a bit different. Like I grew up, I think always,
You were aware,
I was always aware of my spending.
right?
And
You had a job the earliest, right?
yeah, I got a job when I was 16, turning 17.
And why did you get that job? Did you have an idea in your head of why I need this job?
The thing is, as you grow older,
Right.
especially in high school, you realize that you need certain things and you don't want to ask your parents for those certain things.
Right.
For example, for me, maybe it was because it's not like your parents are going to shop for you or you're going to get a haircut with your dad. You know, those things you start doing by yourself.
I still get haircuts with my dad.
As in paying and like
Okay.
yeah.
Keep going.
And so, like, you know, those things you start kind of feeling embarrassed about asking your parents
Right.
for the money to do that.
Uh-huh.
Especially, like, if your friends are going out and you want to go out with your friends, it's like, yo, dad, can I have $20?
You don't
That's-
want to be the
you
one
don't
guy.
Wanna, you don't want to ask.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, sorry.
it just gets kind of awkward.
Uh-huh.
So I got a job mainly because of those things.
Okay.
And also because I guess it was kind of not pressured, but it was always a topic. You know, my sister got a job when
Right.
she was this age. Both my sisters did.
Right.
So I thought it was only right for me to do that as well.
It creates a
And-
level of safety too, right?
yeah. And with me, I didn't spend money on those things like, you know, eating out every day and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I did spend the money, and it was so weird because every month for some reason my credit card bill is like 300, 400, and I was like, how does it get to this point?
Right.
And how am I paying this?
Yeah.
Like most of the time I was working 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week max, right?
Right.
And
With
I'm
school.
Yeah, with school. And I'm like, first of all, why is it 400? I don't even remember spending that much. Second, who's paying for this? like obviously I ended up like I never,
Yeah.
you know, God is good. I never had an overdue payment
Right.
on my visa.
Right. Oh my God.
So that I'm always thankful for that. But
Right.
I don't think I had a problem with spending money, but
Mm-hmm.
I always had something to spend it on. And it was mainly necessities. Obviously there was times where I spent it on myself and
Right.
you know, but mainly it was necessities.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, I would say that you shouldn't be too stingy with money.
Right. Right.
I felt like I was at a point in my life I was a little stingy with it,
Okay.
but you shouldn't be too stingy because
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because what are you saving for? Like sometimes you got to understand that you can't keep hoarding money,
Right.
and it's not going to benefit you like if you die the next day and you have $100,000 in your bank account,
Right.
you know? So you can't be too stingy, but you obviously can't be living on the edge where
Yeah.
you don't
So-
have anything in there.
So
either.
I'd say what you're talking about is being smart with money, right? Being conscious of it. Like, I have this much. Yes, I can spend this much. Yes, this is my emergency fund, and this is my grow bucket. Grow bucket, emergency bucket, fund bucket. That,
Planning ahead.
Exactly, planning ahead. I think that's what you want to do, right? But like, I agree. Like, if you're too stingy with it, you're forgetting the purpose of it,
Exactly.
right? I think it's ruining your life.
It consumes you. Every paycheck you want to save this much, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you want to have this much money at all times.
Right.
And it's like, why do you need that much? What are you
Yeah.
saving for? Unless you actually have a goal that you're saving for, but
Right.
you can't be too stingy.
So then what's the verdict? When do you teach a child these concepts that we're talking about?
I'd say middle school. I'd agree with you. Middle school.
Middle school. So 11 to 14.
Yeah.
I'd say the same thing.
Perfect
11
age.
to 14.
Middle school going into high school, like grade 8.
You'd say a bit later,
Grade 8.
right? So like 14 to 16,
Yeah.
right before their legal age to work. I'd say
It's like-
if you're like in between like 11 to 16, I'd say, you know, you have to do it before they get their first job.
Definitely.
You have to. That's
Yeah.
a
No
necessity. What about you, Anas? What do you think?
I feel like you should talk about money with your kid as soon as they have an understanding of it.
Yeah. So you're saying even earlier?
even earlier, but
middle school,
but not
okay.
like those crazy people on TikToks and Instagram and Twitter that
Oh.
tell you how to deal with money with a toddler. I don't agree
Right.
with that.
Right.
But maybe when you're in grade 3, grade 4,
Yeah.
possibly grade 5, but I would say
Right.
start around 10 years old, because
Yeah.
everybody has a concept
Right.
of what money is even at that age, because obviously you see it around you every day. It's not something unbeknownst,
Right. Yeah. I mean, but then if you don't, you just don't want them to be that, like that. Those, what if you don't tell them early enough and they don't end up being that 12-year-old millionaire who started it online? And here's how you can do it too. You can do it. You can do it. Just buy my course.
$39.99.
Just buy my course. $40. I'm 12. I'm 6. I'm 14. I did it. You can do it too.
Yeah.
Like, those are ridiculous. Not those.
Yeah, not those child prodigies, not that.
Yeah. Those
But-
guys are frauds. Those guys are frauds.
I guess we
So
can
that's
say
the verdict.
start early.
You say early, yeah, like preteen. You're saying even earlier, which I think is good
Yeah.
as well, right? Like basic concepts. Why not? Be
Like,
smart.
you want money, then vacuum the house for it.
Exactly. But we're also
Put some
like,
value to it.
Yeah.
Let's put a little disclaimer. It's never too late to think about money if you've never thought about it.
Yeah.
In like
Never.
a very thoughtful way, Always do it. You're always too early, right? It's always good to get started as soon as you can.
Yeah, so shoot us a DM or give us a comment if you've had money management problems. How did you deal with it? How are you dealing with it currently? And yeah, just let us
How
know.
are you thinking about money?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a
Yeah.
healthy relationship with money?
yes or no? Let us know. Subscribe everywhere. Listen, give us a like. Shout
Comment,
us
subscribe.
YouTube, Google,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Instagram,
It's in the link tree.
Spotify.
It's in the link tree.
Give us some suggestions. Talk to us. Please talk to us.
All right, I think that's a wrap. It's getting weird now. Thanks for listening, everybody.